Hi, welcome back aboard the Starlight Car. I'm Scott B, and I'll be your host for this episode. It's been so long since we've done one of these that we're not even on the same train anymore. It's got a fresher coat of paint and a much smoother engine, but it's still a video game choo-choo at its heart. I'm joined in the parlor this time around by Gamesline editor-in-chief and certified Duke freak John Machonsky to talk with a handful of the fine folks at the Duke Nukem Forever 2001 restoration project. During the middle of last year in 2022, a Duke Nukem Forever 2001 build leaked that Duke fans have been waiting literal decades to finally see. This caused an intrepid group of modders, game devs, and artists of all stripes to try and rebuild the promised version of Duke Nukem Forever that Duke fans didn't exactly get in 2011 when the game finally came out. And you can find them over on Twitter, I'm never going to call it X. It's just not going to happen. They're on Twitter at DNF 2001RP and on ModDB under the Duke Nukem Forever Restoration Project. Our musical accompaniment, as always, is a, quote, super chill remix of Aquamarine by the band Magic Circuit off their self-titled album, Magic Circuit. You can find them on Twitter for more information. Again, never going to call it X. And if you like what we do on the Starlight Car, you can go to gamesline.net to find more excellent content like this. If you're feeling a little generous, you can always subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamesline. With all of that out of the way, I think it's time to kick back, relax, and grab yourself a drink. And we'll catch you after the music. We are here with the entire Duke Nukem Forever 2001 restoration project. Well, not the entire team, but it feels like the entire team.
We gotta get more room.
Yeah.
I mean, I can drag like 20 other people in here if you want.
Please do not. We're packed as
I can't believe you rented out the whole Holiday Inn ballroom for this.
Yeah, just go ahead, start us off. Who are all of you people? Tell me who the heck you are.
Sure. So I'm Liquid Otacon. You can call me either Liquid or Nathan. I am the project manager and lead level designer for the project.
I am ETPC, or Kevin. I am the senior social media community manager and playtester for Duke Nukem Forever Restoration Project. Also stream co-host.
Oh, nice. Yeah. He is my co-host.
And I'm Daniel. I'm the 3D modeling lead for the project.
I'm sorry. I expected you to embellish more. I'm sorry. He's very good at his job. We swear, he's fantastic.
Yeah, 3D art is a tough job that includes a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, please, if you want to talk yourself up.
Oh, we'll get there. I mean, there's a lot to it. So, but yeah, basically figuring out what models we need and getting them into the engine and distributing the tasks and also doing them, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll definitely get into the nitty gritty of it.
I'm 50% Joe or just Joe. I wear whatever hat they need me to wear. I try real hard. Right now I am the narrative lead. Up to this point, I think my running joke was I am Duke Nukem's personal wardrobe specialist.
What have you put him in?
Gosh, boy. I think before the multiplayer update hit live, like the end count for the number of costumes for the update was something like 64 costumes.
God damn.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Somewhere between 58 and 64 costumes.
I'm quite fond of the High Roller Duke.
Oh yeah.
I was very proud of that one.
Yeah. Or the Serious Sam Duke.
Mm-hmm.
That's one I use all the time too. Yeah, Joe did a great job with all those. He made seriously a ton.
One of my favorite things in video games is alternate costumes, and I just had this little moment where I was like, I get to be the guy who kind of gets to pick some of the alternate costumes.
It all just fully clicks in that one moment. And you're like, finally, my life's work has come to fruition.
It's a scene in Jurassic Park for every aging millennial. It's like, I know this system. It's a Unix system.
So tell us a little bit about the history on the project. Like, how did it start? How did you all come together?
So the project has been together for about since the time of the leak, a little bit afterwards. Last
About
year,
a year.
yeah, but just a little over a year now. Yep. Basically last year, after the 2001 Duke Nukem leak came out, like it was some for some people, like the very early of the project, it was literally a couple days, but like the core of the project is probably around like 9 days after the leak came out. And then, I mean, honestly, it was just a whole mess of people who were really passionate and interested in Duke, and there was I mean, there's a lot as far as like the history of like the group goes and stuff like that, but yeah, it was just a lot of really passionate people who really loved Duke Nukem and really saw the opportunity to try to make something. We all saw something out of the leak that came out and really wanted to, move forward and try to make something of it.
For those who don't know, perhaps, do y'all maybe have a bit of an introduction into what exactly this project is, and perhaps how you said you all were got together after the leak happened. What was the process of finding people to work on this and to and also what were your histories with game development before this? Like, were you all doing stuff beforehand, or were you just like, what, first time for everything, let's just throw our hands in and start making a Duke game?
I kind of wandered into it myself.
Yeah, same here. For me, I don't have any game design experience or any kind of development experience. I am literally just like some guy who just posts a lot, and sometimes I feel like I just posted the leak into existence because for like a decade I just lamented about Duke Nukem Forever, as Scott, you well know, and
I actually recently bought a physical copy of Duke Nukem Forever just because.
Oh hell yeah!
Just because it was sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? I might as well. It's literally $3. Like, there's no reason not to own
So,
this.
an interesting thing about the way the leak relates to the finished game that released in 2011 by Gearbox. So, in some ways, the leak makes the final game better because there are story elements in the leak that help make sense of what happens in 2011. That when I recently replayed it, I kind of liked it more because in my head I knew, okay, here's why this character is a complete piece of shit towards Duke, because back then he got a bug inside him. He got a bug all in his flesh telling him what to do, and that's why he's a dick. And so like things like that really did impact how I looked at DNF 2011 afterwards. But
Getting
yeah,
to see the other half of the game.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, I just like Joe said, I kind of I remember being in a server with everyone, and I remember we founded our own community, and Otacon decided to do streams. I followed him along, and I said, like, hey, do you need a stream host? And yeah, I've been part of the project since basically then, honestly.
My way into it was a little opposite of what people normally do, because a lot of times you start out making mods and that's enough to kind of get a job. But I've actually been doing like 3D models for different things, and it's nothing anyone would have really heard of, but like stuff that uses game engines for like, government like visualizations or simulator type stuff. And it was all kind of low end because government computers are just crap. So you have to kind of be low poly and just do basic things. But it was like, environment props. And so I basically said, hey, I see you guys don't have a modeling lead. I can throw in on this. And yeah, I've been in it ever since. And hopefully I've been able to direct things well. We've got at least, I'd say maybe 20 or so modelers at this point. I don't have the exact count, but it's a huge team. We've got people from all over.
Yeah, damn.
Just constantly sending me models. And working in this engine, it takes so much time to just get a single asset into it that just putting stuff that people handed me that's already done into the thing is like a full time's worth of work sometimes.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Because that's another part, right? Because like we're people may think like, oh, why are you like not just using like newer tech and just using the assets? Because like, I think for us, using this busted ass half finished engine and these tools is kind of in the spirit of everything.
I mean, to be honest though, we've already done that in a lot of ways. We've definitely enhanced and like added on to what we have. We actually reached out to a lot of the people in the Unreal community who had their different like brushes and stuff like that for the editor that were available online. And so we were like, hey, is it okay if we like bundle this? We use these things. We
That's
find
really
them
cool.
useful. Is it cool if we include these? And normally it's just just make sure we get a note. You know what I mean, or something like that. And that's that. We get to not only work with the same tools that the original 3D Realms Apogee team used for this, but we also get to build upon it and improve it and fix it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because there are parts of it that are just don't work properly.
And none of us wants to use like 3D Studio to make these things. Like when we have
hey,
Blender.
I use 3D Studio to make these things.
Okay, then I stand corrected.
Blender people are weird.
I like to think of it kind of like one of those slow restorations of an art piece. We are scrubbing the scum off of an old oil painting, or maybe more comparatively slowly reassembling Metropolis. Not to say Duke Nukem Forever is better than sliced bread or something like that.
It could be. I mean, I'm not a huge bread fan.
I very much like the restorative process of it. I like keeping it authentic because it feels like we're doing a fixer-upper.
Interesting.
And I will say too, like, as broken and busted as these tools and the engine are, it's there already. If you're gonna start on like Unreal 4 or Unreal 5, you're gonna have to reprogram every single thing from scratch, and that's effectively starting from zero. But it's easier, even like in this state, when you have something you can build off it and go in and see how things relate to each other and kind of edit a little and use it for guidance. It's not quite as much of just staring at a blank scene and trying to create something out of nothing.
The framework for the house is there, and part of the plumbing is installed.
Yeah, it's a fixer-upper.
Yeah. You got to put walls in.
Tell us a little bit about your history, like your own personal histories with Duke Nukem as a franchise. Like, I want to know, like, where y'all got into Duke Nukem and, like, where it finally resonated with you to the point where you're like, well, I guess I'll help put Duke back together again.
Can I make the guilty admission? I want to make the guilty admission on like a podcast.
Please. Sure.
I was a Shadow Warrior kid.
Oh, wow.
You monster. Get the hell out of here right now.
But like, I remember Shadow Warrior and Duke Nukem and the like were very much just, they were like this forbidden franchise when I was a small child in the 90s. And I had like older cousins that had PCs with FPSs on it. And then like a short time later, I got older and I got an N64, and that was around the time Duke 3D was also hitting and Duke 64 was hitting. And it was just a pop culture wave. Like if you were a kid at that era, Duke Nukem was like just one of the action guys that you knew about.
Totally, yeah. It's easy to forget how big Duke Nukem was back then.
Like I wish I could nail down like, when did I get into Duke Nukem? No, he just kind of is this like weird pop culture continuity thing of that era.
Yeah, like thinking about Duke through a very contemporary lens, it's like, how in the world did people find this cool? Like just this big, extremely like macho man who's saying the corniest one-liners, fighting like very genuinely like corny enemies, and it's like people thought this was cool because it was edgy for the time.
I mean,
and it's like,
as somebody who grew up on like Laserdisc copies of True Lies and Terminator 2 as my childhood,
God,
Duke Nukem is
he's very
like
very evocative of a like 90s like sense of like a 90s like sense of aesthetics. He's very reflective of that.
It's such like, this is my specific kind of thing,
right?
So I've been in this since basically day one. My dad had like a really well-paying union job at like a factory in town, and so like there wasn't really a lot that like I wanted for in terms of like games and stuff and like technology. Not like incredibly outlandish, but like I had a pretty good PC at the age of like 6. And so I was already playing Doom. I was already playing Wolfenstein 3D, and then I vividly remember, I think it was a summer day. I remember being in the backyard, and my dad comes home with a copy of Duke 3D, and me and my brother, who at the time he would have been 15. We spent the entire day trying to get sound working in the game. And when we got it, it was a rapturous moment. And I've been hooked ever since. I played Duke 3D. I played Time to Kill. I played Manhattan Project. I think the only ones I haven't played are Land of the Babes and Duke Nukem Advanced. And also Zero Hour, which I know
do Zero Hour.
I know. I gotta play Zero Hour. I know it's really good.
You gotta do your red-blooded American time travel adventure.
Absolutely. And then yeah, DNF Forever came out, and like I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it felt like a real turning point for Duke as a franchise, where like the like modernity of Duke really caught up to it, and it's like now people aren't necessarily feeling so hot on Duke.
Plus the cultural rot that probably set in early on and things like that. Yeah, like for sure. But even after Duke Forever 2011, once I got through the grief cycle with that one, I didn't give up. I kept playing Duke 3D mods here and there. I kept looking at the Duke 4 Museum, which is run by Devil Master, who was in our community.
I think we all kind of kept expecting more games to come out at some point.
Yeah. I followed like so many former staff members and like followed what they were doing, and I felt like, okay, well, eventually they got to do something. And
gosh, I think forever I still had like a magazine that had like little screenshots of the early screen grabs of the third-person PSP one.
Oh, really?
Critical Mass, I think.
Oh, dang!
And it was like announcing there will be a mobile trilogy on DS and PSP, starting with Critical Mass, and it had like pictures of a third-person shooter in there, and it was either EGM or Gamers Republic or something like that. And it was just, tiny little postage stamp size thumbnails next to an article, and that was like all of the Duke that we had after forever for years.
I mean, that DS trilogy has the greatest trailer ever made.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
One of the trailers ever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I've been in, and I continue to be in. Even though I am someone who can absolutely admit the faults of Duke Nukem, I'm still someone who absolutely genuinely enjoys the games and the character.
Oh, listen, I'm a pro wrestling fan. Like,
Okay,
I understand. Like,
Totally get
So
it.
you know the mindset.
There's a Venn diagram
exactly,
there for
100%.
sure.
Absolutely.
We've all been there with the franchise. I was an Ender's Game child.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, speaking to your point, Scott, about how, like, looking at Duke through a modern lens and, like, trying to figure out, like, what do people like about it. I've never said this in an audio format that can be preserved, but I have a theory.
All right.
The way that people look at Sonic the Hedgehog and be like, how did people enjoy this back in the day? And, like, all the games that come out, and, like, it's better now.
That hurts.
It's better now, but
What do you mean?
I think Duke Nukem is the Sonic the Hedgehog of first-person shooters.
Yes.
See, yeah, but Sonic is tight.
I know, like, and Duke Nukem is tight too. Don't take that away from me.
Don't make me get out the screenshot. Somebody maybe put Duke in the Sonic pose.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Can you post that? Actually, I really want to see that.
Oh Lord,
Me
I don't
too.
even know if I can find that. I will look for it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that you all like came at this from a bunch of different positions, and but it all is united by this legitimate love of Duke Nukem. Like, I remember getting into the franchise mostly just 3D. I'll be honest. Like, I just really I loved the map design and the weapons in that game so much that like I got into it like fairly recent, like comparatively recently, I guess I should say. So it's interesting to see that like you all were, very invested in this from the start. So when you got access to the leak and you decided, hey, we are going to we're going to try to finish this. What aspects did you think were like very important to highlight, and what aspects do you perhaps what did you feel like you had to change? Like, what about the Duke Nukem 2001 Forever version really stood out to you?
For me, the tone. DNF 2011 has a problem with like establishing its world in a way where it feels serious. And that's a problem that carries on throughout the entire game. It never feels like an actual serious problem of things going on. With 2001, the minute you finish the interview and you come outside of the lady killer on the penthouse balcony and you see the rain-soaked streets of Las Vegas, you hear the air raid siren, you see buildings on fire, and you like the casino being strafed by people who used to be your friends, like literally just thinking about it, like I literally teared up when I saw that. 'Cause I was like, oh my God, this is the game I wanted the entire time. And just recalling that moment back in May makes like my skin tingle, to be honest with you.
No, it makes sense. Like, seeing something like there has to be this moment of like revelation, but also just like deep sadness that like this is almost what we could have had, but then now you're just sitting there being like,
there's no reason to be sad because we have it.
Exactly. Like you have it.
Timeline is correcting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, would it have been really cool to see a finished version of this? Yeah, absolutely. But I think something that so one of the ways you asked like what we do to like, what do we decide to remove, what do we decide to add, that kind of thing. One of the things we all really have become in this are historians. Like, we have collected as much data as we can on everything remotely related to Duke and related to like specifically this time period, like this era of 3D Realms, this era of like, the game's development and everything else. And when you really dig into it, there's plenty of scraps and hints and things left over within the game itself, and like within interviews, or within like little bits of screenshots. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've rewatched the same like bits and pieces that we got, some of which are actually in the 2011 version of Duke Nukem Forever through like the unlockable menu, I'm pretty sure, where you can watch like the early trailers and stuff like that.
I think there's a point where all of us turned into that like one image of Charlie Day in front of the conspiracy board at some point on this project.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Like, we all have our own thing of that. Like, I've had like plot points like pasted around a GIMP board as I like mark them out. Like, okay, in this interview they said this happens, in this one they said this happens. It makes sense if those two things happen after that.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in like Dark Souls, like lore hunting communities where people are trying to figure out like what is the exact state of development of like all of these games, which are like relatively unfinished to one degree or another. Like, people just trying to like paste together how exactly this could even fit. But now you're actually working on something where that matters very significantly.
I honestly think it's really fun.
Yeah, and like the breadcrumbs are everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, even in those just like little snippets of like the different eras, because like there's a video from like now, which is the E3 trailer essentially, and then like there is a 2003 footage, and then there is like 2007 footage, 2009, and then what we actually got. And so throughout all of that, you can see different little things that are either like we know that like a good cutoff point for when the storyline that is in our build ended is like 2003 to 2005. It ended between then, because the screenshot you're fighting, and they drastically like just like little things like that. You can even like get an idea for what other enemies were like, or like what other things they could do.
And it's not just story too, like digging through the models and like stuff on the CD, there are assets that are in the 2001 build that made it to the final game, like the drink dispenser, that texture's there. there's like a Switch that's really ridiculously high poly for 2001, but it's in there. And I think the thing for me that really came into focus is I always had this assumption that the final game was sort of like a full reboot, and the little bits and pieces that matched with the trailer were just there as like fan service. But it really
Right.
was just this continual like ship of Theseus for the entire decade long grind of just like taking things out and replacing it with something else. But there was never a hard reset or a
Right.
reboot. It was all just one contiguous nightmare that came lurching out at the end.
That really it has been like the most fascinating revelation of all this is that 2011 is the one that we're working on somehow.
Right.
Mhm.
It's so strange that like you're like, oh yeah, there's a straight line from this one to that one.
Yeah, shockingly so. But like at the same time, it's like I know you said this, Joe, where it's just like 2011 is this game just arranged in the wrong way,
Yeah,
basically.
they had all the same parts, all the same assembly, all that. They put it together wrong. They threw out the instructions. They lost the Allen wrench.
Everything was in Swedish.
Well, expand on that a little bit. Are there any like really hard limitations like working within that sort of structure?
I mean, the limitation I feel like we're trying to respect most is we want the narrative and visuals when you feel both of them to feel like they came out of a time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to say
Yeah.
restrictive. I feel it is creative parameters.
And we internally talk all the time about, and we've been public about this, but like we specifically want the game to feel like it came from 2003. Like that is the goal.
Right.
Like, specifically 2003. So that means like in terms of things like cultural references, nothing past 2003.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
which we decided that very early on.
That also includes like game design and
Yeah,
like, game
totally.
philosophy wise too. There's a lot of things that are done in modern games in general, whether it be first person shooters or RPGs or anything, where there's you got compasses now and you have like a little more direction and stuff like that, where like this, it's still like you can look for the key item because it's glowing, but other than that, like you have like an NPC told you what you have to do, and now you have an objective, and now you try to figure out how you're going to solve that objective. And so it's a lot less like handholdy. It's a lot, we have to like it's a lot of like level design thought and like going into like how am I going to direct the player this direction, you know what I mean? Do we have enough
Interesting.
like people talking about it? Do we have the signature green light or red light to direct the player, you know what I mean? It's a really common like trope, and it's like also like and it helps that we all grew up with, for the most part our team is like anywhere between the ages of like 25 and 35 for the most part, so we grew up on like all of these games anyways. And so, but it is also like a lot of replaying Half-Life, and realizing that every time Valve wanted you to go a certain way, you could basically find a green light, or like there's a switch you were supposed to press, that's what you're looking for. Or even like with Doom, where it's like you got to remember, the rule of thumb is like you have to be able to see your objective through wherever you are on the map already, whether it's through, like in our case, rubble in the casino, or it's through a literal window. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to like know what's going on. Like you have to direct the player in that way too. It's a lot less, here's your map and figure it out.
It's a very I don't want to say like archaic, but it's a very like straightforward sort of like level design that nowadays is very I guess less considered, because more and more things are moving towards maybe not even like open world, but more like open environment sort of level design.
And we're doing some of that, but not like nothing like it's now, where it's like you have this entire massive area to go explore through. No, it's still linear.
Yeah, it's still like in the style of early 2000s games that did like that very same thing. Like Half-Life is not an open game, but it is open in the sense that like there are a lot of the areas that you go in are pretty big, all things considered, and you can explore them very thoroughly. And like a lot of it is sort of like getting lost and then like finding your way through.
Yeah, or they'll even give you like 2 or 3 paths to like make to what you're getting to. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's even emblematic of like Duke 3D and like I mean, even the very first level.
For sure.
It's a fairly large chunk of city street, a couple of back rooms, a couple of buildings. There's a whole theater, tons of little secrets and alternate paths.
Yeah, and there's like 4 ways to get to the exit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all trusting the player to figure out one of those 4 answers.
Yeah.
Has that been like particularly challenging to execute? Like,
It's had its moments.
Yeah. I can think of one level in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some people get stuck at places we were hoping they wouldn't, but we've also had moments where we see someone like fall for the trick, as it were, and it feels so good when you actually do pull it off.
That has to feel so gratifying.
Do you remember for First Slice we had a secret level?
Yep.
And
yeah.
we had a majority of players think that was the correct path because they kept finding the secret so quickly.
I thought it was clever, but it wasn't.
Yep.
They still enjoyed it. I felt real good about that.
Yeah.
What was worse is when people who would find the secret with low health would then fall down the shaft and then immediately die because we forgot to turn up velocity on the spawn. So they just fall to their deaths immediately upon spawning.
Oh no, what's worse is if you just fall through too fast, you just explode no matter how much health.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you jump down is how you end up gibbing on the other side. Yeah.
That's how I always make an entrance, as a fine red mist.
But yeah, I mean, definitely. There's the casino, which is like the second to last level in the First Slice. Basically, we try to do this kind of more. It's still a linear path, but it's a lot of like backtracking and like going back and forth and stuff like that. And essentially, you have to like go find this key card behind this massive pool, which is pretty but unwieldy. And you come back through and then activate some security gates and continue the way you normally would. But there's like 2 different hints that kind of we tried to use to direct the player to getting that key card, but so many people just clammed up and then would just kind of like wander about and then just like didn't know what was going on. And that's not their fault. Like there are ways we should have better like indicated the path, you know. We tried to use like a kind of approach where we were trying to get the players to like follow the enemies essentially, but that didn't necessarily, there were just always enemies everywhere, so that didn't necessarily click, you know. And so there are other ways, like, you know, with that we had to or with that we're actually just completely reworking the level, but that's because it just kind of got away from us. But then there's like a smaller level like hotel where the system is pretty simple. You just get a key card, open a door, it opens a hatch, and then you leave. But so many people couldn't find the key card, and that came down to like placement, and like it wasn't necessarily in the eye of the player, you know what I mean? Or if it was kind of like cluttered amongst some other things. And then like it wasn't very like, even though an NPC told you exactly what you had to do as far as getting into the Budbot hatch, you know, opening up the Budbot hatch to go through the hatch, people thought that you just had to like do something with the little Budbots instead. And so a lot of the times, you know, on the Discord, we have like a gameplay help section and all kinds of different channels that people can come to with questions and stuff. We try to help out. And that's one that I've read so many times. Like, what do I do with the little robots? What do I do with the Budbots? And so we've actually, you know, we're reworking that level, and we're going that direction because so many people went, hey, what do I do with these cute little robot friends? Well, let's use the cute little robot friends. So you now have to, like, you know, activate a computer which activates one of the robots, which will then directly lead the player to where they need to go. But it still is like, it makes sense because they're still going to the hatch, which is like their like another room that they have access to because they're little cleaning robots essentially.
And then like another thing with that map is that like, and like I think we talked about this before, but like we had an NPC that told you that like, hey, this is where I left my key card, and we kind of used a TikTok like voice synthesis thing while in
we
development.
didn't use that. That was already in the game. Yeah, that was part of the
That
leak.
was already in the game?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. I thought that was
Yep.
us who made that.
Wait. Is it the eponymous TikTok voice?
It's kind of your generic, like, Microsoft spam female.
Oh, just
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
text to
Yeah.
speech.
It's a
Okay.
text to speech. Yeah, it just sounds a lot like it.
I was hoping it was the girl going, I left my key card in here.
I mean, it's not far off.
It's not far off at
Yeah,
all.
not far off.
Oh my god.
Watch for 15 seconds to find out what Duke Nukem does.
Another big one too is in, I believe it is Penthouse A, where this is the one where everyone got stuck on. Even when I had one of my best friends like play the game in front of me, they circled this for 20 minutes where you have to put out a fire coming from the oven.
Oh yeah.
And we had people like we watch all the streams and stuff and like videos, and we had people try out literally everything they could possibly think of to get past this obstacle, when the only thing you have to do is close the oven.
Yeah, I did not expect that to be like,
Yeah.
why can't Metroid crawl?
Right. I think the instinct for a player is just to be like, okay, this is a puzzle. I need to find the solution to the puzzle. And when it's like right in front of them, it's like it feels way less obvious, you know?
And so because of that, we're redoing we're redoing the level to add that puzzle because it makes way more sense to the player.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I think my favorite complaint about that one was somebody tried to claim a bug report, like, you can't pee anymore. How do I solve this without pee?
I mean, that's the answer to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That just shows you're making a good game. That you set up an option like that, and people are like, damn, where'd it go?
Why can't I piss?
Took the dick right out of my hands.
Maybe that'll be the fire extinguisher I finally give Chew. We'll just allow pissing to put out fire.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem now has the right to bear dicks.
Finally.
On the flip side, though, there are some really, I think, good moments where we nailed it using the lighting or props to kind of, get the player where we're going. And I remember, like, specifically, my kind of technique was to just not play the versions of the levels that people were working on until it was time to do a props pass. And the reason for that is so when I play through for the first time, I could kind of see where I was getting stopped up at. Because, I had all these 3D models that we've been making, and so I wanted to kind of go in and just do like a props pass on the different levels. And so there was this one part in the first Penthouse level, and it's near the end, you're going out of a vent, and I just couldn't figure out what to do because it was so pitch black. And it turns out there's another little vent off to the side that you actually have to kick out and leave. But if you go forward, it just spits you back to earlier in the level. And it was dark that I just could not see that one to the side. So it was like, what is going on? Like, why can't I finish this level? And then I looked at it. And so what I ended up doing was, because the building's been like hit by a missile, I put some lights along that little exit corridor, and one of them was knocked over but still turned on. So you could have some light coming in from the area that you're supposed to kick out. And now I have not seen a single person miss that. They see the light and they know, oh, that's like something that's supposed to get my attention. What is this?
That's really cool.
And honestly, I had no idea that's the case. It's been so long, like I don't even think about those kinds of things. So, like, I would have guessed that was just a part of it already. So that's great,
That's how you know you're doing a good job.
I think so too, for sure.
Yeah. And like one of the coolest things is one of the streams that happened during the first slice. Someone was trying to guess which was our work and which was 3D Realms' work, and they were like, "Okay,
I remember that.
I'm gonna nail this. I can tell which is which." And by the end, they had no idea where our work started and 3D Realms' work ended.
That's beautiful.
I loved them asking, like, which pig textures are the real ones. And I'm like, I'll never tell.
They're all real.
Exactly. If you believe in yourself. So yeah, that was a really awesome moment, to be sure.
I couldn't find the Sonic picture, but I found an early group shot of a bunch of our costumes. If you want me to
awesome.
post that in the chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please. This is really good.
Yeah, these are great.
It's a real early unpolished one before like even a background or anything was added, but we tried to throw in like everything.
Just seeing this makes me happy.
It's even got some unreleased skins in there too.
Oh, I love this Waluigi one. That's killer.
Lean Duke.
Oh god, there was one I put Duke Nukem in a I like regular blue jeans, red tank top Nukem, and then I took the backwards baseball cap model and I made one with a green tank top and a green baseball cap, and I said, all right, for 2-player, here's Luke Nukem.
His brother.
Good old Bimmy and Jimmy.
You all very much wanted to keep it faithful to that time period, but did you ever feel like you were stepping on the original creator's toes, or were you not worried about that? Did you feel like, you know what, this is going to be something that we're doing, this is our version of the game? Like, what was the process with that? Like, how far do you want to go with the new stuff?
The big thing is that there is very, very, very little new stuff, as it were. Like everything that we do
Interesting.
and everything that we've added to the game is based off of concept art, or it is based off of the like things we have found. So like even Viscerax is one of our like characters that is ours, but even that is based off of concept art that we kind of just like, okay, well, we kind of feel like we need another character for this act here. Why don't we do this? And but like I said, like it's all still like based off of it's still interpretation of like concept art or like different like plot points and stuff like that. So as far as like stepping on people's toes and stuff like that, I mean, we're not really we're going off of everything that we've seen. We're not really making our own. We are making our own thing in the sense that we have to write dialogue and stuff like that, right? But we're still
Right.
going off of the things that have been, the breadcrumbs that have been left everywhere.
We're
Sure.
trying to give
Right.
our best take on a game that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And
Basically,
and part of this is like, well, let's put together the puzzles pieces as best we see fit. We have this leak screenshot here, we have this interview here, we have this one line of dialogue. We got to make a scene out of that because apparently that connected two things together.
Mhm.
And we're going to do our best to pitch the best restoration we can. But I think that's also why we've been going out of our way to collect and preserve as much of the development history of 2001 as we can. So
Right.
even when you play our version, as far as I recall, we're still going to have like the leak stuff on display too. It's
Yep.
all
Okay.
here.
With the second
Mhm.
campaign.
Yep, for you to enjoy as it was leaked.
Nice.
in my view, I think us like looking at like concept art and things like that and like putting it into the restoration project, in a way, it kind of also honors all the struggles that 3D Realms had to go through in order to like, conceptualize this world that they very clearly
Right.
cared about. Like they very
Mhm.
clearly put a lot of effort into like, these kinds of things. And like, yeah, there's some stuff that maybe we won't include. But like for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that are like, no, we can put this in the game and we can honor the hard work that someone did at some point for this thing, because we don't want to be like, the Duke Nukem Forever we never got. We also want to be a celebration of Duke Nukem Forever and Duke Nukem in a way, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I kind of want to make a funny segue of that just because I'm like,
Please.
this is like, I think like the second time ever I think we've publicly talked about Viscerax.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think he's a fun example of there's a ton of concepts, there's a ton of script work, there's a ton of leaked work, that there was like a series of RoboCop like pyramid scheme of antagonists.
Yes. And
Yep.
there's some actual legit concept art of it, like the one boxing ring. I don't remember the gangster guy's name where he's got like Kill Nukem on his rings.
Little Caesar.
Yeah, Little Caesar. And it's just this whole like just villain shot of the.
I always feel like a goober that managed to stick with that name, because I think I pitched that name when I was like an environment extra guy in my year on the team. Well, what if we call him Viscerax?
I was like, oh yeah, Viscerax works.
Well, that's cool. I'm like, it's a good placeholder name.
Yeah.
And then we had to like put together like, well, he's this secondary protagonist. He is under the primary one. I don't know how much the rest of my team would feel me like divulging too many details about him. Like,
yeah, if you want
how
to
do
leak the entire thing, any secrets?
how do you
totally
guys
cool.
feel about just like the origin pitch? Like, why is Viscerax back, and why does he hate Duke Nukem?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Talk about him
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
So we're kind of like, so why does this guy exist? Why would this guy even be here to fight Duke Nukem? Because we didn't want to just do 2011's the lizard troopers from 3D are back and the Cycloid Emperor is invading again. Our big bad, who will remain mysterious for the time being, we all love him, he's great, you're gonna love him, I love him, has hired a bunch of goons, and one of them is this like alien overlord who's kind of stepped up in place of the now dead Cycloid Emperor, and his name is Viscerax, and he's one of the lizard troopers from Duke 3D that survived Duke Nukem's endless onslaught of just destroying that military. So he's this battle scarred, hardened, like cyborg enhanced, mutant enhanced, like Liz Trooper with like part of an octobrain mended to his skull to fill in like a spot that Duke Nukem shot off. And he's back for revenge. He wants in on this. We're going after Duke Nukem. He's bringing his hunting party of fellow like elite lizard troopers to be a nice limited appearance, but have a nice impactful like menacing appearance to the Liz troopers.
That's extremely sick.
Yeah, that does sound really cool.
So, do any of you feel like there's much of a future for, just outside of your project, do you feel like there's much of a future for Duke nowadays? Or like, do you feel like Gearbox is going to keep stepping on its toes and like never necessarily like, supposedly there's a Duke Nukem movie being made, supposedly with John Cena being the star, but
It's definitely not with John Cena. That's definitely old hat.
I will at least
but
give a like polite head nod to the guys who worked on Cobra Kai for making a show that should not have engrossed me as much as it did. I was genuinely baffled how like much it got me, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna work on Duke Nukem." I'm like, okay,
yeah, that might actually be kind of cool.
I'm not gonna say I'm optimistic, but okay.
Yeah, I sort of fell off Cobra Kai, but I really liked the first and I don't remember how I felt about the second season, but I fucking love the first season.
It's real goobery, and I feel like it understands what made Karate Kid stuff fun.
Yes, 100%. And I really liked the things I didn't necessarily like about it was it definitely felt the need to rely too much on like Karate Kid nostalgia and Karate Kid lore in a weird way, where it's like, no, like you're already setting up a newer and more interesting universe and like showing different sides of these characters who have been like set like way are much older than they were like in the past, and it's like that stuff is way more interesting. And it's like, if they, I don't think they're necessarily going to do that with Duke Nukem if they do, but I trust their chops.
I don't expect them to do a Duke Nukem passing of the torch narrative like they did with Cobra Kai, because as much as part of me is like, oh, what would that be like? Who would we cast as the passing of the torch person? Like,
I almost feel like you couldn't pass the torch. You kind of need to just like, you kind of just need to like justify Duke Nukem to a new audience, I suppose.
I think I've joked to a friend that the perfect way I would do a Duke Nukem movie is kind of like a Mad Max movie.
Where he's like there, but other people are just doing stuff too, and so he's a part of it.
There's like a primary alien invasion narrative, and Duke Nukem's like a third party who is like picking up chicks at a bar, and he's like, these aliens are really ruining my time trying to pick up chicks.
I used to deal with this kind of stuff. Used to.
You have Battle for LA going on screen for a second, and then just Duke Nukem like kick flips through the screen, like shooting 8 of the aliens, going like, "Why are you guys like cowering and screaming? Come on, this way!"
Mhm.
They're like, "What the? Where did he come from?"
As far as like the future, I think it's fair to say currently and for the last like 10 years, where the life of Duke Nukem is in its community.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
while we haven't necessarily gotten any major releases or anything else like that, what we have gotten is a ton of, you know, just even user maps, but a ton of mods that are made by incredibly dedicated teams and incredibly dedicated and passionate people that have not only like carried on Duke Nukem through things like Alien Armageddon, and through
AMC
things
Squad.
like, yep, AMC Squad, yeah, that one's like adjacent to Duke, where it's like the what's going on in the world without Duke kind of deal.
Mhm.
It's like the Avengers of build games. It's kind of incredible.
You know, and I mean, like, you have like even things like Ion Fury, which isn't like necessarily like directly, you know, but it is. Bombshell still, her roots are still within Duke Nukem. You know what I mean? John St. John
Right.
still voices the main bad guy, but I mean, even with like I don't know, even like just recently there have been just like a ton of mods that have come out that are still like trying to breathe new life and continue on like the legacy of Duke. You know, 2011, you know, for people, you know, the actual Duke Nukem Forever we did get. At this point, we even have modding tools for that. There was a dedicated modder in the community, Ice Cold Duke, who worked on and got the editor working for the 2011 release. And so now there are
Mm.
like 3 different teams working on different mods for 2011 that are either like altering the actual Forever storyline or like the Forever game,
Right.
or they are altering, or like, you know, there's another one that's like trying to remake Duke 3D in the 2011 engine. You know what I mean? So it's like the passion for
Interesting.
Duke is in the community.
It's pretty cool to watch all of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like every day, the community blows my mind a little bit.
Seriously. And then like it just feels like the leak just turbocharged everything too. It's like because like none of us knew that the editor was just in 2011 the entire time. It was just like missing a file or like an argument, and then it just like after like a couple nights, Ice Cold Duke was like, "Yeah, no, I got it working," and it was just like, "What?" And yeah, it was
That dude
it's
functions on a whole other level.
seriously like tons of respect for that guy.
Man is playing 4D chess with Duke Nukem.
But I think in terms of like in commercial prospects for Duke Nukem, like if you think about it economically, it wouldn't really make sense for Gearbox to do something that isn't Borderlands at this point because like it's just that makes the most money for them. That keeps the lights on. That keeps
Sure.
like the employees happy because I'm sure they enjoy making that world. Those games are great. Borderlands 3 is a lot of fun. Borderlands 2 is a lot of fun. Like Tales in the Borderlands is really good. Like would it be nice if like maybe some Skunkworks team tried to do a Duke Nukem game? Yeah, and I bet you they have. But like it just, especially with like the ballooning budgets, like a quad A Duke Nukem game just does not make sense right now. Like commercially,
Duke Nukem open world adventure.
yeah. Do you want like a Duke Nukem extraction shooter? Do you want a
You
Duke
see
Nukem?
that pig over there? You can fight it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the idea with Duke with dialogue trees does, in fact, really speak to me.
3D's
Just
options are just blowing out your ass.
Yeah. Come get some, eat shit and die.
Shake it, baby.
There would be an audience for it
Oh,
if
yeah,
they
totally.
licensed Duke out
yeah.
to a smaller studio and made like a low to mid budget pseudo indie game. Like the whole wave of new retro shooters has brought so many people into enjoying this genre, and a lot of those people are looking into the older games and, you know, getting into Duke. And I feel like there's probably more demand for it now than there was probably even back in 2011, just because the trend has been going to these more retro shooters lately, and people really enjoy those, especially compared to how samey and kind of bland the big AAA linear shooters have gotten. So I think if they just sorted out the rights and gave some small group a chance to just make something competent and just get something out that people actually like, it would probably do pretty well.
Like a Sonic Mania for Duke Nukem would be incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, can I just get like Night Dive does 0 Hour or something?
Oh yeah, that'd be
Do
great.
it, please. 0 Hour on PC with mouse look.
So one other thing too, and I'm just remembering this, and this is a bit of a ad for Bitmap Books' FPS book they recently put out. I'm Too Young to Die. Incredible book. But there's an interview with Randy Pitchford in it, and they talk about the canceled Duke Begins, which was going to be a 4-player co-op like prologue, like origin story for Duke Nukem, and that got canceled, and actually kind of affected Duke Nukem Forever's development because they were counting on that revenue. And in that interview, he talks about wanting to maybe revisit that concept again. So if Duke does come back, it might come back as that, and still that could be cool. That could work. And I would play it. I would play it and I would buy it because I really would like this character to get another shot today, and like with a good team, and yeah, it could work.
Hear me out. Here's how you start up a brand new Duke Nukem game in the distant future of like 2025. He just gets spit out of a time portal.
There you go.
Damn.
Yeah. Or
It writes itself.
exactly. Or you make the Duke Nukem IP public domain. And everyone gets a chance to make a Duke game. Or even, and sorry to keep going on with this, but like, do you remember how Serious Sam, when they were doing Serious Sam 3, they did like that whole indie push?
Oh yeah, all the little indie games.
I wish Gearbox do something like that. Like it was like, hey, we're going to bring on like 7 different indie developers to make weird small games for Duke.
There's a community and a passion for it. It could totally happen.
Oh, wait. I have goobery caveat for the pitch. You can randomize it from 3 different starting lines. I had time to kill, the clock struck 0 hour, and I just got back from the land of the babes.
There we go.
There we go. Ship it.
Cut, print, ship it. There's how Duke Nukem exists in the future.
Fourth option, this retcon took forever.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Did anybody else catch that episode of Sliders?
God. Duke would watch Sliders.
Oh, I'm sure.
John Rhys Davies in Duke Nukem.
So you've been doing like new voice acting for the game. What was the process with that? Like, obviously, the big get is Gianni and all that. A lot of people know about him, especially because he kind of got his start doing the Duke impression.
Sweet precious Gianni.
Yeah, like how was that like implemented? How was like the recording sessions? Like how like I'm guessing like none of you all ever like did any kind of like voice direction before. Maybe was that something like new to you all, or have you done something like that before?
No, it's something that's pretty new to us.
Yeah, and Gianni's very self-motivated, and he can kind of feel things out too, which has definitely helped.
Oh yeah,
having a rapport with our voice director.
If there's anyone who knows the character, it's him.
Absolutely. And our voice director of Spider-Man does an incredible job with like VAs.
You got Spider-Man working with you
the
guys?
real Spider-Man. We got Peter Parker on the team.
He's amazing.
He's been so fucking busy.
Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man does just an incredible job with VAs and like directing them, and there's been just like incredible performances coming from the actors we have, and like not just Gianni, but like Ivy Wild, who's going to be voicing Bombshell. We recently got Zane Schacht on board to voice a character that we haven't announced yet.
Nice.
But a lot of it really is too that we know what a lot of the voice actors for the game were at the time, or at least some of them. So like voices like General Graves. Essentially, the direction is like we found similar voices to that guy's voice. Unfortunately, I can't remember the original.
No, our
VA's
General
name.
Graves is insanely spot on. Like it almost sounds exactly like the original.
Yeah, Mornell is our General Graves, and does like just a fantastic job. Or then it's like we have Frame Raider, who is a YouTuber. He does a number of different things, and that was just like he just ended up doing a really great. He was just a really great voice for the vending machines, and so he does all the little funny bits and goofy things, and so sometimes it was just we had an audition page that people came to, and then just applied to the voice through there. There's some people who are just like part of the community. And they just came to us with their talents and went, hey, can I do this? And it was just like, yeah, this all makes sense.
I liked getting to talk to Ivy recently about Bombshell, and that was part of the reason we wanted wanted these intimate performances from actual people and stuff, because I know some people in other
Yes.
communities have talked about, hey, have you thought about running such and such lines through like an AI or something like that?
Ooh.
And that's a hot topic. We're gonna gloss over that
Yeah.
and move past that and concentrate on our voice actors, because I feel let's all be a little optimistic and fun right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And just from my experience, like working with AI voice stuff, because I do it for like comedy podcast stuff. It's like that can also be really, really difficult to work with, because like AI voices tend to have like a very unnatural timbre, and it's really difficult to get like the sort of like performance that you want out of them. So it's like I can imagine it would be so much more difficult working with that than it is just like working with a professional who knows what they're doing.
On top of that, it's like if our game allows like other voice actors to, like, launch their voice acting career like Gianni did and like show up in all kinds of other things,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
like it was all worth it, you know?
Getting to talk with Ivy was fun because like we also got to get some of her feedback on like the character design.
Interesting.
And part of it was like telling her like, I want you to have fun with it. Like, what about this? Could we like tweak a little bit to make the like you want to do this more? She's like, I really like the design. Should be like a little bit more buff, and we're like, yeah, and she's like, really? And we're like, yeah, no, if you're excited to play the character, that is going to be audible in your performance in the character.
That rocks.
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up and you're gonna be excited because you're gonna be like, all right, time to put on my headphones, time to be Bombshell for 30 minutes and record this, time to be like one of the coolest characters in the game. And the more excited somebody is for like the role, the more you're gonna hear that passion in them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like our voice actor for Gus, who's a big, he's prominently starred in a lot of the the 2001 trailer. He's just this prospector guy, and Star Nukem, one of our voice actors, met with Spider-Man for like 2.5 hours. They sat and chatted about different like voice lines that they could do, and like really getting into the character and like breaking down who he is. And again, some of it's based off of concept art, and some stuff they had dug up that I hadn't even seen. It was just like you don't get that opportunity with everybody, of course, but you know what I mean. Like that's also just like sometimes that is what we do to
Spider's organization and
really-
research is on he's always on another level on that stuff, man. He
For
will dig
sure.
up all kinds of documents.
Can I audition for a cameo right now? Here's me. I'm bystander. Duke, look out! Is that good? Is that good? Does that work?
maybe
for
a
y'all?
little more like concern.
Duke, look out!
That's about what our other normal NPC voice actors sound like. Yeah.
Should I send you a DM
All right,
after this? Or...
No.
Yeah, I expect a generous commission.
Now here's the important one, because this is the one we're really lacking. Can you do it as a woman?
Yeah, hold on. A Duke, look out!
There you go.
There's such
Sold.
like late game like story ideas we'd have to talk about with some of the people who want to do cameos in the game.
we have some really fun ideas for cameos that we really want to make happen.
Well, thankfully we already
Absolutely.
have the audio, so I'll just send it to
Oh
you.
yeah,
Oh, perfect.
let's
Yeah. Just clip that. Yeah.
drop it in the engine. It's fine.
It'll be easy.
I know it might like sound concerning though, the cameo thing to some people. Well, I don't know if we're gonna be quite a hunt down the indie game of any kind.
Totally.
We're gonna try and be very tempered and
Yes.
serious about this. There will be a few voices you're gonna recognize here and there. We're not gonna tell you
Oh,
who
yeah.
they are immediately. It'll be fun.
All right, this has been a really excellent interview. Do y'all have any final Duke thoughts that you're like absolutely itching to get out before that you need to say, or else you're gonna lose your mind?
I was just gonna make sure we shouted out some of the other projects that are working hard in the community and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah, excellent.
You've got like the 2011 enhanced mod that already has a couple different versions. You can check it out on ModDB. Just look up, DNF 2001 enhanced or Duke Nukem Forever enhanced. And that is looking to essentially tweak and modify the original Forever storyline and streamline it in some ways, and just kind of tweak and remove some of the things that the community has kind of unanimously agreed they don't enjoy. You've got the Duke Nukem 3D revamp team, who is the people who are working on remaking Duke 3D within the 2011 engine. I think they're also working side by side on a version of it also in Unreal Engine 5. Both of those are kind of going along. You've got things like the Duke 3D, I think it's the Legacy mod?
Yeah, Legacy Edition.
Which is a Legacy Edition, which is a
mod.
remake. So it's not a remake, it's like taking things that were in the early like lame Duke builds, or like things we saw in some screenshots or some videos here and there of early alpha builds of Duke 3D, and then incorporating them into the actual Duke 3D.
Very cool mod.
If you want to like dig far back and appreciate some classic Duke modding, we have a couple of HRP people on our team.
Oh yeah.
T-Monster.
So yeah, check out Duke HRP. That is always a fun time in Duke 3D.
Yeah. T-Monster and Mark contributed stuff to our project.
Yeah, they've both been sending just an incredible amount of models and textures and all kinds of good stuff. New stuff for this project, stuff from the HRP that they've let us use. The Hollywood Holocaust Rethinked mod is another good one that they worked on, and also Serious Duke. If you're into Serious Sam, that's another one with some stuff from T-Monster.
Interesting.
Still cannot believe I got to work with T-Monster on that Duke model.
He is amazing.
The final thought I wanted to put out was basically that we want to make a Duke Nukem game that is a action horror game with comedy seasoning, and we want to make that game not just for ourselves, but for the entire Duke community, but also for people outside the Duke community. Because like, we really hope that this game, like people like kind of look at it and go like, oh yeah, maybe Duke Nukem was kind of kick ass. Like, yeah, there were some issues here and there, but like overall, like maybe this is kind of awesome. Maybe this is kick ass.
Sometimes I want a little cheese in my action.
Exactly. Sometimes I want a little seediness. I want a little lewdness in my game.
Awesome.
Just a couple of one-liners in the strip club shootout.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where can people find y'all?
We have a community Discord, which is the Duke Nukem Restoration. Hang on.
It's the Duke Nukem Restoration Community Discord.
Thank you. Yes.
And it is searchable through the explorable Discord servers. If you just type in Duke Nukem, we are the very first thing that comes up, the Duke Nukem Restoration Community.
There you go.
Awesome.
And then we're also on Twitter at DNF2001RP. And we have a ModDB page, which is just the Duke Nukem Forever Restoration Project on there. We have a YouTube page. We post all our stream archives. We have a Twitch on twitch.tv/LiquidAuticon. We were doing bi-weekly dev streams, but like we've kind of taken it easy a little bit. We need to take some time off just because we've actually been working really hard since December, like nonstop. And so
I have been itching to get back to those though. So
yeah, me too. I want to get back to doing that. And
forcing myself to be lazy this week.
Hell yeah.
To the alternate costume mines.
But yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
When does Billy Zane get here to sign my copy of Critters?
I love that game.